Here's my pick of the best VR fitness games. These are judged on my own personal enjoyment, but most importantly their fitness intensity. I record all of my cardio output using a Garmin watch and a Garmin Heart Rate Monitor Pro Plus, but I'll also take into consideration any resistance work or mobility gains. I'll also include official Meta affiliate links so you can get 10% off any of these games on the Quest. First up we have Until You Fall by Shell Games. This roguelike sword fighter puts a big emphasis on dying. Here you'll continuously have to run through various waves of enemies and bosses, collecting ether which you can then use to upgrade your arsenal of weapons. So you can either dual wield, which is a bit more choppy, sort of like Beat Saber, or you can go for a big two-hander and really throw your whole body around and engage that core and back. And I definitely prefer this playstyle the most. Now make sure you warm up for this one because it feels so damn good to throw enemies into the sky. Longer runs can last 20 minutes and this game definitely has that just one more run sort of effect, and it is very easy to lose track of time. In the 20-minute test I burned 77 calories with an average heart rate of 96. So a little on the low side, but the upper body mobility and fun factor make up for it. Then we have a two-way tie between two very popular rhythm games, and these were kind of the gold standard of workout by accident. So you could either play Beat Saber or Ragnarok, and actually there's way more than two. You also have Audio Trip, Synth Riders, and basically a new rhythm game comes out every month. But for the most part, you'll be equipped with some sort of sword, hammer, wand, paddle, or glove, and you'll have to hit the floating orb, box, or note in time to music, and sometimes docking and weaving under obstacles. It really can be a fantastic cardio workout. Now by far the biggest benefit to these games is custom songs, where people have kindly mapped out levels to some of your favorites. And with these games in particular, it really is what you put into them. For me, early 2000s punk rock and jamming away to Sum 41 or Offspring just gets me bouncing like I literally can't contain it. Here in Ragnarok, I burnt 218 calories with an average heart rate of 136. Pistol Whip often gets lumped in with the other rhythm games, but I feel like it just offers a little bit more in the gamified fitness space, especially in the lower body, so deserves a spot on its own. Pistol Whip is the definitive VR rail shooter where you'll have some guns or knuckle busters, and it's your job to dodge bullets and shoot or punch your way to the end. But what makes this such a fantastic workout is its dodging mechanics. So here you'll be ducking and weaving like a boxer, lunging from side to side, and sometimes just straight up squatting. And the best modifiers in my opinion are Vengeance, which makes them fire a bullet back at you when they die, more bullets, well that one's self-explanatory, and finally Bulletproof, so you don't die and you don't have to worry about restarting the run. They're still updating this game, and recently it did get mod support for even more replayability. So even though Pistol Whip is a little bit lower at 165 calories with a heart rate of 118, trust me, after an extended session you are going to completely forget how to walk the next day. Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu is, well, you probably can guess, a VR Kung Fu game. It's kind of like Tekken or Mortal Kombat, but made for VR. And there are so many characters to choose from, each with their own unique ability, and the best part is it now supports multiplayer, and they even have this crazy soccer game which is kind of like Rocket League. There's a lot going on here. So you can make this more like a boxing simulator by closing your fists and sort of brawling, but I think it's way more fun to get wild with it and do some double palm strikes or get the fingers out for some eye gouges. It does have quite a lot of movement, so if you get VR sickness, you might want to take it easy with this one. In my own playtest, I burnt 226 calories in just 20 minutes with an average heart rate of 142, zone 3 training again. XR Workout is the only subscription game I'm including on this list, as I do tend to shy away from them. They do however offer a lifetime membership option for $96, so in my mind it's just a very expensive VR fitness game. But what sets them apart and why they deserve a spot on this list is their keen interest on including resistance training in mixed reality. It makes use of things in your house like a chair for dips or a wall for wall squats, and of course the ground for push-ups and sit-ups. Now for the longest time VR has really been cardio focused, but these guys are pushing the way forward and bringing a good amount of resistance training into mixed reality. It's basically a 20-minute hit session and you will be completely smashed after it. In my own test I burnt 215 calories with an average heart rate of 145 and a max of 173, and now starting to get into that zone 4 threshold training. It probably is the best workout on the list, however the cost can be a con, and while it is gamified, they track all of the moves, it's scored, there's leaderboards and even multiplayer, but it really does feel like a workout, and as such, time doesn't quite slip away like it does with some of the other games on this list. But the next game is perfect to follow after such an intense session, which is Recharge by Versus Games. And this will help you get a full body yoga session in and stretch out all of those tight muscles. It has some stunning environments and a really robust roster of stretching routines. And the way they've gamified this is actually quite interesting. So they actually have 3 fitness games, all of which are initial one-time purchases. Now the whole premise of this is that it's led by your very own AI personal trainer, and after each completed session will earn you coins and gems which can then be used to customize your own trainer. You could dress them up or dress them down if that's more your thing. Now I really do like yoga in VR. My only wish for this game was that they included mixed reality so I could do it in front of a mirror and see how my form is looking. But overall they have all the stretches I could hope for, and they all make sense given that you're wearing a headset. Now unsurprisingly, not the most intense game from a cardio standpoint, but the mobility gains are huge with this one, and probably the best in VR right now. At an average heart rate of 103 and 97 calories burnt, and I definitely wouldn't say it's easy. You know, some of the poses are quite challenging, especially for someone as stiff as me. Blast On is the free-to-play 1v1 dueling shooter, and is probably the best example of competitive, completely gamified VR fitness. So here, guns spawn around you, you have to pick them up, fire them back at your enemy while they're doing the exact same thing to you. Now these projectiles move in slow motion, which ultimately means you're going to be dodging, lunging, and squatting out of the way, which makes it a great lower body workout. Now anyone with a competitive spirit, there is a leaderboard and ranks to climb. I personally just dive into this every now and then and blast my little chicken legs. Whenever I film myself playing this, I can see how much I smile and time flies by, and it's actually a crazy workout. Here I did 203 calories and peaked at a heart rate of 183. Big shout out to Bob288 for the most intense duels I've ever had, and he did just get the better of me. But funnily enough, this was the only game that got me into Zone 5, but perhaps a bit of adrenaline from the close competition was at play here. And we're coming back to the AI trainers. Fitness One is the best VR resistance training I've found without a subscription. So once again, with the help of your trainer, you'll have a large roster of exercises to choose from. Each session lasts from about 5 minutes to around 15. Exercises include push-ups, squats, lunges, aerobic movements, and abs. And what the heck, the ab workouts in particular are ridiculous with this one. There is so many, borderline too many planks, side planks, crunches, hip thrusters, and all sorts of weird movements that will have your core screaming. Now it is gamified by earning coins and customizing your trainer, and by the way, progress you make in any of their games carries over to the other ones, which is quite cool. Here I burnt 180 calories with an average heart rate of 132, and playing this one, my yoga mat was completely covered in sweat when I was done. Les Mills Body Combat needs no introduction, probably the best received dedicated VR fitness app of all time. Here you'll be working out with 2 Kiwi coaches, which I personally love. Les Mills is a titan in the real world fitness industry, and they've made their iconic body combat classes available in VR. So with a combination of punching, squats, slips, battle ropes, knee and elbow strikes, it really is a full body workout. They have a range of different lessons ranging from 5 to almost 30 minutes, and it is just incredibly polished. The rings exploding based on how hard you hit them does feel really satisfying, and there's leaderboards and mixed reality, and they do add new content from time to time, both paid and unpaid. Here I burnt 245 calories with an average heart rate of 144. Finally, Thrill of the Fight. It seems like no VR fitness list would be complete without Thrill of the Fight. Even after 8 years, it still holds up as the gold standard in VR boxing and now supports mixed reality with the Quest. Here there's just you and 10 other fighters, but they do have quite a few settings. An example of what you could change is you could turn your opponent's aggression all the way up, but turn the glove speed down, so this is a great drill for practicing your slips and dodging. Or if you're looking for a slightly new title, you could easily swap this out with Ultra Boxing or Golden Gloves, and of course, Creed is always solid for multiplayer. Stats were 196 calories with an average heart rate of 137, but I personally think VR boxing is just one of the best examples of VR fitness. It's fantastic cardio work, can help with coordination, it's fun and gamified, and keeps you coming back for more. If you want, you could even add your own resistance bands or weights. And finally for number 1, and I know this is a massive cop-out, but it really is whatever you like the most. Maybe you want to be an earthbender in Rumble VR or chase your friends in Gorilla Tag. Just because Les Mills Body Combat and Thrill of the Fight is the top on my list, if you don't like shadowboxing, play something else. In VR, your body is the controller, so for stealth games, you could sit in a deep squat, and even driving games like MudRunner VR, you could stretch out your tight hamstrings. As someone with ADHD, I heavily relied on all of these to form a good exercise habit in my own fitness journey, and VR just has this incredible ability to get us gamers off our butts and moving around. But let's start a discussion and let me know in the comment section what your favorite VR game is that gets you moving. I'll review it, record my workout stats, and add it to the discount code list. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.